In today's MTD CNC video, I'm with Ian Davis of Walter Tools, and we're going to be discussing Walter Innotime. Ian, welcome. Innotime, it's a software solution, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more, please.
It is a software solution, Joe. As with most software solutions, it's designed to save people time. The aim of Walter Innotime is to reduce the time taken for tool selection when trying to create your manufacturing process.
And how does it do this?
The way it does that is by utilising features from a 3D model, which we upload onto a web-based solution. The software works by identifying the features of that solution, of that component, and then uses the GPS link within Innotime to select the correct tool for that feature based on the material being machined and the machine that's being used as well.
Before you go any further, can we take a quick look?
We can, yep. It's accessed through the Walter website, and we start by dragging and dropping a 3D model into the website. This is a basic prismatic 3-axis component. What we can do from this component is identify some of the features a bit further. So where we've got holes, they may be tapped, so we can identify them with the relevant thread size. And we can also add, if required, hole fits as well. Once we've identified some of the major features that we want to machine, we identify the material that we're going to use. So in this instance, I'll use 316 stainless.
In terms of file types, is it like an IGES file or similar?
We support most 3D model types, so step file, IGES file, they can all be uploaded into this system. Again, material's been loaded. We now select the machine that we're going to use. So if anybody's familiar with using GPS, they can access the machines that are available to them that they've saved. So again, we select the machine. We can add material. So if this component was to be made from a billet, we can add material all around. In this instance, I'm just going to leave it as it's being made from an L-shaped type component. And then we click the calculate button. So then simple steps now allows the system to try and identify the tools that we're going to use to machine that component.
Presumably for some of these, there's going to be more than one option.
Yes, there are, and we can do some of the refining once we get to that stage as well. This process takes a couple of minutes typically. So if I just jump to one that I've already completed, you can see now that the component has been identified with the number of features. And then on the right hand side, the tooling has been selected for machining them features. And like you said, we can refine it. We can go into the tool that we've selected, select a different tool within GPS, and then add that to the list.
So okay, we've got a list of tools here. Presumably there's, we've got to select these tools now.
Yeah, the selection of the tools, if you're comfortable with them, we can change them through GPS as well. We can click into them and select the change. But if you're comfortable with that selection, it's a case of adding them to your basket and then creating the order through Toolshop or contacting your local FSC to arrange a quote to do it that way instead.
It's a great idea. I'm just wondering, would it typically be a CNC machinist using this, or maybe a production planner or a production manager?
It's typically aimed at production engineers, but process planners, machinists can use it, and even the evaluation department. So if somebody's using it to price up jobs, they can work out tooling required and work out the cost of investment before they quote for the
there's big benefits. So rather than the machinist getting the drawing, having to go and source the tools, the production planner, whoever's responsibility, they get the tools, and basically they're there with the drawing, waiting for the job to commence.
Yeah. Regarding the potential downsides from a system, it's aimed at delivering savings. We're constantly talking about savings, whether they're actual, factual, claimable. This system saves time, It saves the time of the person who's using it, trawling through catalogues. We've all done that in the past. Yes, we've got our banks of knowledge in our heads, but we could miss something. This system is not designed to miss any features. It gives you all the tooling that you require, allowing you to make sure that that tooling is available for when you put that job on that machine.
So on your branding, we see this engineering competence. What's it mean?
Engineering competence is a combination of the 300 years of the Walter brands and the innovation that they've worked with and created on the cutting tool side. Engineering competence encompasses now the digital side. So where we've been innovated with cutting tools, we're now expanding that into the digital solutions, and that's where the Innotime software comes from.
Okay, so you've supplied me a number of tools. How do I know about the cutting data and things?
A simple click on the feature highlights the feature on the component, and then that opens up the selection of the tool that's involved in machining that feature, and then it gives you your cutting data that's available for machining that component.
So it's almost taken some of the skill out of the job as well, isn't it? Which sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But I think in this instance, it's a very good thing. You're you're making it more accessible.
It's having that information to hand and not relying on trying to remember. Customers will always know the way that they can machine their components and their materials. We're here to assist that. This software does that and gives you that information to hand rather than you having it in several different locations.
And just finally, I can't help but notice this button.
Yeah, send to Walter Innotime Hub. Obviously, we're looking at a very simple prismatic part. Most components in the workplace today are slightly more complex. I think you'd agree, you've seen more than I have. If it doesn't feed through this system, we have a more powerful system that sits behind Innotime, which allows the applications engineers from Walter to access the more complex components, but still deliver the same output to the customer. What that means is, rather than it being a web-based system, it becomes an offline where you're contacting your Walter rep to make sure that they've got the information to allow them to deliver exactly the same as what we can through this process.
It's a fantastic system, it really is. But just to conclude, who should look at this? Is it the one-man band? Is it the large blue chip manufacturer?
It can be used from the one-man band right the way through. It can be used for looking at a specific feature or an out-and-out full component. So there's no limitations on who can or can't use this.
Brilliant. I look forward to seeing more in the field. Thank you, Ian, and hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.